Welcome back to another video. Today in this video, I am going to show you guys how to get your power level. You're probably like, what? I gotta do it. Show you how to get your power. Because back then, in Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, it was known as power level. To get your power to 2020. Because if you look at it, you're probably like, okay, Robbie, well, you're already 2023. It's like, no, my gear is 2009 with the bonus of 14. You want that gear to be as high as it could get. In this case, you want that gear to be 2020. I'll show you a way to do it. Okay. First step, open directory. This is what you'll get greeted with. You can do this as a new player or returning players. If you're low, let's say it only works if you're below 2020. So I'm 2009. If you're below 2020, you can do this. Like I said, whether you're a new player that just left the Cosmodrome for the first time, or if you're a returning player that hasn't played in 2 or 3 years, you can do this. So, first step, open the directory. We can do this in 3 easy steps. First step, open the directory. You'll be greeted with this, right? Second step is hitting eternity. Is hitting eternity and then hitting right of the 9. You can do this on all 3 characters. Let's say if you started and you're a new player and you like all 3, or if you're a new player and you're trying out all 3, or let's say you're a returning player and you have all three classes, not characters, classes, right? You have the hunter, the warlock, and the titan. You're like, okay, well my hunter is already 2020 because of grinding, but I need to get my warlock and my titan up. Or let's say all 3 of them, or however many classes you got, are super low. You spawn in here, spawn in back there, run up this, and there will be 2 chests you will be greeted with up here at the top. Besides the emissary, she's not chest. So you want to come to the chest that's on the left, that is glowing or that has white and gold on it. You want to open it because it is a gift of the 9. And when you open it, you're like, okay, Robbie, well, this is dumb. You're probably like, okay, well, I don't like the look of the gun. The guns, I don't like the look of the armor. You don't have to really like it, okay? So all of this holding L2 will bring up pretty much all the numbers for it. Everything in this chest is 2020. You just basically grab it all. Get out. Not in here. Okay, I'm back. So, you're probably like, I don't like the way it looks. Like, okay. Well, after you can even grab these 2, but I don't really like Izanagi's Burden or Ion Soul. Because all Ion does, Ion has 3, yeah, 3 abilities, whatever the heck you want to call them. First one in is Forged, or Force. Sec of Force. Rapid precision blows with a weapon temporarily increases your reload speed and weapon swap speed. Stunning champions or landing rapid precision hits on a powerful combatant will mark them. Your allies deal increased damage to marked combatants. When a cult allies, when a ion cult, ion cult allies who do not have Sack of force roll equipped grants or gain grenade energy. So if, let's say, I'm running this, but my fiance is not running that one. Let's say she's running this one, right? I'm gonna go through all of them and then I'm gonna explain it. Sack of insight, success, successful, successive precision weapon takedowns have a chance to drop an orb of power for your allies. When you use a finisher on an elite, you generate special ammo for your team. When you use a finisher on a boss or mini boss, you grant heavy ammo for your team. Nearby Ion Cult allies who do not have insight roll equipped grants a burst of super energy. Okay, so what you're gonna want to do is have three people run it. Let's say one hunter, one titan, and one warlock. Right? One runs force, and the other one runs. Wait. Okay, we still gotta do this one. And then Sack of Vigor grants class ability energy on and take reduced damage from combatants for a short time when an ally dies or when you resurrect an ally. Near critic nearly Nearby critically wounded allies take reduced damage from combatants cult of near Ion Cult allies who do not have the vigor role equipped also grants class ability energy while critically wounded. So let's say have one warlock run force, a titan run insight, and a hunter run vigor. That way you get energy and you get grenade and melee energy. You get burst of super energy as well as class ability energy while critically wounded. This will be good. The force will be good with the bow. So I'm gonna take it, but I'm not gonna take that one. Okay. So we go here. That's 2020. So we take off this. Put that on. Put that. 22. 60. 50. Oh, that's way higher. What about the standard one? 60. Oh, that's still higher though. That one. Oop. 60. 60. 86. Okay. 60. And 79. So in this case, I would use this one. Because you gotta remember, after you get a piece of armor fully masterworked, it's a plus 20, I think. Right? So let's say I'm like, wait, what's this one? 81. 80 by a different. Got pretty good stance. Ooh, that's 24. That's 12, that'd be 22. 40. Oh, that's bad. Okay. So what you do is you come in here and you get all of it. They're all 8. Okay, good. 65. Oh, that 65 is fucking amazing. But can I? Oh. So now that everything's 8, what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw this one on. Resistance. Resistance. Uh, resistance. Uh, resistance. And resistance. Right? We're setting at 98 resistance, right? So each piece, remember, when you masterwork it, each piece will get a total of, I believe, 2 in each slot. So it'll be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So you're looking roughly between like 10 to 15 extra points for the total. So this is 10. A fully masterwork piece is 22. You get 2 for every slot plus the part that you did. So let's say I'm like, all right, resistance, I don't want none. Okay? You're like, I don't want none for that piece. So the base is 12. So it'd be 2, 4, 6, 8, 12. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Right? Because six, there's 6 stats, and you get 2 points for each stat. So that's an additional 12. That's an additional 12 points. Plus the 5 to 10 that you could put on for your armor mod. So I'm like, okay, I need a resistance mod. You see where it says resistance plus 10 resistance? But you're like, okay, well I want plus 10 discipline. The higher number, so this where it says discipline and there's a 3 in the top right, that's a higher mod. It's going to give you 10. There's a lower mod that's going to give you 5. 10, 5, 10, 5, 10, 5, 10, 5, 10, 5, right? Each comes in a pair. Okay, so you're probably like, well, what the heck is that 3? So you see where it says I have 10 energy and 5 is unused? So if I came up here and put 3, now it's 2 unused, right? So if I came over here and put this one, it'd be 1 unused. That means I have 1 extra. That means I could take this and swap it out for, wait, what's that? That's outreach. And swap it out for this. Now I am fully charged. Okay. That's basically how armor works. So always keep in mind there's always going to be a plus 12 on top of it. That's why I'm like 70, but this is 86. So if we go take this off, we're setting at 60, right? So it'll be 82 is what we will be looking at, right? Yeah, because it's plus 12. It'd be 82. So 86 to 82, 86 is better. Let's take that off. All the base armor is 60. Don't really worry about class items because they don't specifically give you any boost. Okay, look. See how these legs, mobility is 2, resistance, recovery, and discipline is 12, intellect is 20, and strength is 2, right? With class items, it doesn't do that. Everything's basically 0 until you put your armor mod in, right? So if I go here, it's basically 0. There's nothing on it, basically. There's no stats. Armor like this is basically useless, right? Because there's no stats for it. That's why class items aren't necessarily that important because it's what you put into it. That's not what you get out of it. So like I said, for these, it's 2, 12, 12, 12, 22. That means these legs are way better than this because that's what it rolls with. That class item, I physically had to put something into it. So let's go to this chest piece. See how that says 60 there? Remember, when you fully masterwork a piece of armor, it goes up by 12. So that'd be 82. This chest piece is 86. Chest piece is better. Take all of it out to show you guys. Okay. So with these arms, it's 82 versus 79. So with all of these masterworked out basically, I can even get these higher because of it. It's 84. These are too higher, right? But this is where you gotta start looking in. Yes, it's two higher, but what are the stats rolled? Like what is like where are the stats rolled at? Again, it's 2, 12, 12, 2, 12, 12, 12, 22, right? This is 18, 19, 10, 17, 4. Okay? This also kind of pulls into what you want your build to be, right? So you're like, I want a super good melee build, right? So we put on all this armor, okay? You're like, you want a super good. Before we do that, I'm going to explain what these are. Mobility is your jump speed and your maximum jump height. Basically, here's a pro tip: don't worry about mobility. The exact at 100 is the exact same jump height and movement speed you'll get at 0, right? It's basically not good. These are different and they're kind of good. Resistance increases the amount of damage you take before dying and increases your shield capacity, reduces the damage taken from combatants. Basically, if this number is 58, which means if you look where it says resistance tier 5, it could go up to 100. Damage reduction means my damage reduction, I take 14.7, I take 14 point I take 14% less damage. My tier 6 damage reduction goes up to 17. That's basically what resistance is. Recovery is basically okay, so recovery, so each character has a stat for that specifically for that character or helps with that specific character. So mobility, you'll get the hunter's dodge back quickly. Resistance, I think that might be for Titans. Or recovery is a warlock stat. Reduces the cooldown on your class ability, increases the speed at which you regain lost health. It's basically the quicker you can recover. Tier 4 is exact same as the last one. It goes from 0 to 4, 0 to 100. Higher you get, the recovery rate increases. I recover my health at 10%, at 11%. At tier 5, it goes up to 14. Discipline is doesn't make sense, right? If you're like, okay, discipline, no. Discipline is grenade. Discipline decreases the cooldown timer of your grenade, allowing you to use them more often. This is where it makes more sense. That means my grenade cooldown at 58, which is tier 5, is 1 minute and 41 seconds. At tier 6, it reduces down to 1 minute and 33 seconds. Basically, everything that I just said for grenade, same thing for intellect, but that's super. So the higher it gets, the quicker I get my super. The quicker the timer drops. Higher you get, the lower the timer is. Same thing for melee ability. Quicker the timer, the higher the mobility, the lower the timer is. So now that you know basically the basics of character stats, we're going to go into, like I said, character based stats, class stat. So basically, people are like, okay, well, the recovery is the warlock stat, right? It's like, so nobody else can use recovery except for warlock. No, warlocks get more benefits from the recovery stat. Uh, I want to say Titan is strength. It can either be strength or resilience. I think it's strength. We'll find out. So, okay, so with these, where it says mobility, resistance, recovery, discipline, intellect, and strength, that's what you get built on top of these. That's why I said class items are pretty much trash because they don't really give you anything. You have to put stuff into it. So basically, all of this is bare, right? Your bare armor. No mods, no nothing, right? It's 60. So how this works is like I said, 10, which buffs your discipline up by 10. Let's say I want resistance because resistance is everything. So my resistance is now 89, 68, right? Oh, my boots. Okay, let's not do boots. Let's start with the top. Okay, let's start with the helmet, right? So 60, my helmet is 60, right? Base is 60. Again, discipline, resistance is 10 to resistance, right? So if I go up here, my total is now 70. You want that total for that piece of armor to be as high as you can get. Highest one I got is like 80, no. Highest I got was like 91, I think. Damn near every single stat was above 15. But that's rare. That happens very rarely. That you will get above 85, right? So, with the helmet again, your mod stat is the first one is your mod, is what you're physically gonna get from it, right? So basically, what I do when I first load it up, I get a first new armor set. I got a fresh new armor set, right? I go to the total. I add all my mods to it. I'm like, I want resistance through the roof. Because resistance means you can die a lot less. Or if you're like me, you die a lot. Okay. We're setting at 98 resistance, right? Okay. But we're also setting at 80 intellect. So we got all that in. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So now, this is what's also cool. You're probably seeing like that number. How it says 4, 3, 1, 3, 4, 2, 1 to 4 basically. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Again, the higher the number is, the more you get out of it. But they came out with something, the new armor, 5, 6 years ago, to where you see how I have nothing in it? How it says there's 8 unused slots and I have 8 energy, which means that there's nothing in it. The higher the number is, the more energy you mods that have 1 in it. Okay? But if you go lower, let's say I went instead of 4, I went with 2. Now I have 2 free slots. Well, 2 free slots, right? So, okay. I go with this because I don't really care about filling it out. Yes, there will be a few because if you go to this armor, there'll be a few slots that aren't necessarily filled out because it's not part of my build, right? I could go here and throw on a discipline and be fully, fully charged, but that doesn't help me though, right? That's why I threw on. Uh, I throw on the intellect. Boom. My helmet, right? Yeah. Now my intellect is 28 and my resistance is 16. So my intellect is 88 and my resistance is 92. Okay? You see? But I'm like, okay, well, I don't really care about that. I'm just building into resistance because I don't want to die. Okay. So let's say you're like, okay, well, I want to go for a specific thing. You're like, okay, well, I want to get my super maxed out, right? So you're like, I want to have my super maxed out, and I want to have my super is gonna be maxed out, right? Okay, see how that's lopsided? Now your resistance went down, but your intellect went up. You can balance it out instead of going with the full 10 intellect. You could go with 5, which kind of no, not that one. You could kind of round it out a little more. Now it's a little more even. It's 85 and 88. Go the same thing with this one, 93 and 80. Right, but you're like, okay, I want to go for an intellect and a resistance. You know, that's all I'm into. Okay. Okay, so put this mod on. Okay. That's basically the closest you're gonna get without tipping over. Okay. Let's say you're like, okay, I want my I want my discipline to be super damn high. I want to get my grenade back every 2 seconds. So come in here and throw on discipline mods. Discipline mods full maxed out are only 3 energy. They only cost 3. Discipline, discipline, disciplined. That's 88. We'll push it over to 108. That means I'm getting my discipline. Okay, so this is where you come back every minute. Okay, you say you're like, okay, well, I don't like my grenade. I want to do melee. I want to be punchy, punchy. Okay, my strength is 68 because it was so low in the beginning. It was only like 15. You're gonna be a little bit more of trouble with that. See, I like this overall stat, right? Resistance, 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 and then that. Okay, so what I can do is I could take off this resistance and replace it with anything that's not above 3. So I'm like, okay, well, you'd be like, okay, well, my discipline is looking kind of low. I could throw in 10 into discipline, and then, or that my, how many? Yeah. And then you could go to your chess piece. Chess piece, you could play around with a little more, because they don't really have anything that's actually detrimental unless you're building into stuff like this, right? You're like, okay, well, I want to throw in this one. Okay. My grenade are about even. You're like, okay, I'm getting my grenade back super quickly now. Okay. Or you're like, okay, I want my recovery up. I want my cover recovery to be maxed out. I like having full recovery. I don't want to die so quickly. Basically, is what you're saying. Discipline, throw into resistant, and then see that's probably all you're going to be getting because they're so close together. Okay. If I do another one, it's gonna break it, but it's also gonna drop it. By breaking, I mean, so you could be like, well, I don't need 2 kinetic siphon mod lawn. I can take one off, and I'm gonna put that there and take that off, right? Now I have 3 uncharged. I'm like, okay, well, I want to throw I want my intellect, not my intellect, my recovery, since it's already okay. So what you do with this? So like you have 85 and 82, right? You don't go with okay. I want to do a resistance mod because that's gonna offset it. If you already have this mod and it's a low one, just throw on a high one. See? And now they're more even. Okay. Basically it. Right? Hmm. All of these are better. I don't. You don't really worry about the class item again because it don't really matter. Okay, this is where it becomes really cool. There's something that's known as artifice armor or artifact armor. I call it artifice. Okay, artifice armor comes with double stat perks. So I'm like, okay, I want to do this. But if you do it like this, it only gives you three. It doesn't give you the full 5 or 10. That's how I'm able to get it so closely. I can flip them, which means I can put on a recovery mod and then put on a resistance mod. And now they're basically artificed armor. You'll know it's artificed. Where it says Queen's Favor, it will say Artificed. Comes with basically two stat perks, is what it comes with. Two stat slots is what it comes with. So, all right, say if you're like me, well, you're like me, and you're like, well, damn, my armor's better than the high armor. So what you do is you'll take it, and there's something called infusing. I don't have enough. I have to go back to the tower. I'll be back, guys. There will be a part two of this. I think this is gonna do it. I'll catch you in the next one. There's gonna be a part two probably tomorrow or whenever I get time for it. But yeah, there will definitely be a part two, which it goes more into detail about infusing, which is gonna be a big stuff. But yeah, hope you guys next one. Peace.